1987, you may recall a music group called Mars released its hit single, Pump Up the Volume. The song gained significant attention and airplay and went on to be a #1 hit. Oddly enough, just a few years earlier, another group by the same name, Mars, had released their own version of Pump Up the Volume. Commissioned by the U.S. Department of Education, the Mainstream Amplification Resource Room study published some significant research findings about pumping up the volume in the classroom. The Mars staff began their research by testing students in grades 3 through 6. They found that 30% of students in any given classroom had minimal hearing loss. This 30% became the target group. They were divided into 3 groups: typical classroom settings, regular classrooms with supplemental resource room instruction, and regular classrooms with a sound field system amplifying the teacher's voice. A sound field system amplifies a person's voice through several speakers throughout the classroom and delivers that person's voice at a comfortable, uniform volume to all listeners. The results from this study indicated that the group using the sound field system saw achievement gains at a faster rate, to a higher level, and at a lesser cost than the traditional resource room model. This led to another study by the same group of researchers that indicated students with minimal hearing loss were viewed by the classroom teacher as impulsive, overreactive, and having a weak attention span. Really, all they needed was to hear the teacher a little better. So in 1983, Mars researchers stepped into the kindergarten classroom to get a closer look at the issues. They used the tape player to present words that students were to identify by placing an X on the appropriate picture. When the tape player was an average of 12 feet away, normal hearing children achieved an average listening accuracy of 91%, while children with minor hearing loss averaged a score of 81%. The same experiment was run with the tape player in the middle of the room, giving an average of 6 feet away, and the results improved to 98% and 96%. For the grand finale, the same activity was done through a sound field system, and both groups averaged 98%. The sound field system had successfully closed the gap between normal students and minor hearing loss students. But these results also show that normal students benefit from sound field systems. Mars researchers estimate that 75% of the school day is spent engaged in listening activities. The brain's auditory network is not fully developed until about the age of 15. Therefore, children listen differently than adults and require a quieter environment and louder auditory signals in order to learn. The major conclusions from the rest of the research done by Mars concludes that students that can benefit from sound field systems include English language learners, students with a soft-spoken teacher, students in a team teaching environment, learning disabled students, students in a noisy classroom environment, children younger than 15, children with hearing loss, students sitting in the back of the classroom who may miss up to 30% of what the teacher is saying. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to research supporting the effectiveness of sound field systems in the classroom. So last school year, our instructional tech team piloted a variety of sound field systems at schools across our district to examine the impact on Northshore students.
Everybody listening to me? Let me give you a little hint. It's not as easy to read an inequality when you have the variable on the right-hand side.
I think students understand me better, and I can turn around and talk to the class. I've noticed, because I have the whiteboard, that I can turn around and I know that they can hear what I'm saying and they can follow along with what I'm writing.
Lego figures, and they made this box setting up the scene of an event that happened.
Kids are focused. They know exactly what their direction is for the period, and getting them back to attention again when they're in the middle of a group situation is so much easier also. It's changed. I'm able to run the classroom from any point in the class.
Well, if an object is like floating, then wouldn't it be like not pushing the water down because it's less dense?
Whoa, because we're going to be doing our plankton samples to compare how this is happening with the Gulf tomorrow. Some of these objects are... It brings a professional atmosphere. When the student uses the microphone, they hold themselves different. They think about their words more clearly, and obviously the rest of the class can hear, and so it doesn't create a, well, maybe I need to raise my hand because I can't hear, And so it's a wonderful way to make sure people can hear. It's more inclusive that way. So socially, it's a very good thing.
They were interested in it. They could hear everything. I didn't have problems with having to put kids in certain areas of the classroom because they can't hear me.
I knew that everybody could hear what I was saying. I never had a question like, oh, am I talking loud enough? Can I get over the din of the classroom? And they also seemed to quiet down more quickly.
How did they use that tool specifically? How did geographers use latitude and longitude?
To find the exact spot.
Ooh, to find the exact spot.
The other thing is using the microphones for student feedback as well, going around and doing the Donahue style. When kids are sharing, give them the microphone so that both sides can hear. And it's great because they feel like they've actually been a part of a great group discussion.
For more information on the Northshore School's Soundfield System project, please visit www.nsd.org/soundfield.
Of course, the big thing, everybody wanted me to say, "Luke, I am your father," for the first week.